I often get comments, friends saying that power isn't the main thing. That's true. Everything should be considered as a whole, because for example, if you have an amplifier that costs 1,000,000 rubles and it looks like, and on top of that, it's unreliable, well, that's just mediocre. Deal. So, as they say, in a person, in an amplifier, in anything, everything should be perfect. From A to Z. Well, just take a look. Yes, there are two really cool devices on the table. This is the Japanese school. 30 kilograms in weight, 50 watts per channel, and practically no features at all except for a phono stage. The price, right? 300, 400,000 for a used one. Basically, for some people, that's a good deal, but not everyone has that kind of money. And I keep getting requests in the comments, well, make a video about something more down to earth. And here you go, friends, the most down to earth thing in this world. 51 watts per channel. Developed in Russia, so the price is, of course, as low as possible, because I'm talking about the Premiere. They're doing great, not like I'm just praising or advertising them. Remember Top Gear, friends, that's how Lux goes. He always loved English cars, for example. He praised the Discovery 3, which my friend personally bought and then regretted it. Just how unreliable it is. Or some Jaguars, which again are not competitive models when you have Mercedes, or eventually BMW, Audi. I'm not talking about American brands. Well, okay, let's not talk about that right now. My point, friends, is that we need to be as objective as possible. And if I say something that's not true, you can always write in the comments, because I always try to convey the most truthful point of view to you. And today we have a device for review that it's worth every ruble. It pays back all the money you spend on it, because it's 68,000 rubles, 51 watts per channel, 11 possible connection options, a streamer on board. You can even install a Vim app on it that can connect completely different devices. Tidal, Kubus, everything is in it. Not in your phone, but in it. You can simply control this thing from your smartphone or computer. Is it a good deal? Absolutely. But let's still find the downsides in it, because I'm always looking for the downsides. It's very important to me. Well, that's just my nature to find what I don't like. And there are also such things here. So, let's go. This guy will still find his buyer, but in this case, we don't need him anymore. I'll ask Igor. Please, take it away. Still, 30 kilograms is quite a hassle carrying it back and forth. And we'll continue with our hero. Friends, it's well known that if a company is trying to play the long game and wants to establish itself in the market, and the hi-fi market is quite a complex story. It should offer really cool products at the lowest price. And the Premiere, strangely enough, and to be honest, I'm proud that this is our Russian company, is now offering you really high quality products at extremely low prices. And you need to take advantage of this, because soon the prices will go up. I spoke with the developers of the Premiere, with the owner of the company, and he revealed a secret to me that the products they are selling right now are essentially at very low prices. And it's not profitable. It can't go on like this for much longer. So, here's a little life hack, friends. Honestly, the price and quality are very low. Moreover, the Premiere is doing great. They are expanding their product range and trying to push out competitors with such a large stack of products that will satisfy any consumer. Look, there's the Premiere A1. It costs about 34,800. I did a review on it. It's a cool device, plays great again for its price. This is the A1's. It's all the same, but here a streamer has been added, and that's really cool, because essentially you can connect only your speakers to it. And you, Tidal, Kubus, Hi-Res, FLAC, DSD, HDMI to the TV, everything works. Next we have the Premiere A2 with the arrows. It already costs 58,800, cheaper than this device, but it doesn't have network functions. And this, well, how can I put it, friends? Again, you need to buy something extra. And of course, the hit segment, which I consider to be the best in its category, 100,000, that's 100 watts per channel, I think. And it really does give you just need a cool appearance at most. And at the same time, the price in relation to competitors is very, very attractive. I'm not talking about vinyl, I don't like it, although the Premiere has it and there's KBT Delta in its segment. That's good, but personally, I don't use them. I prefer good quality digital sound even. That Regan, which costs around 2 million rubles, I wouldn't put it in my home because I think it's just, well, it's not like it's money down the drain, but if you have a lot of money, a lot of records, and you are a real fan of analog sound, you like to get this record, turn it on, look at the printing, then yes, well, that's it. Digital, my friends, only hardcore. So let's take a look at it. What does the A1S offer us? Firstly, the appearance is classic. There are no arrows here, friends. Is this a plus or a minus? Well, most likely it is a minus because the arrows are really very good. They're like fire. When you look at them, you get lost in thought. And personally, I immediately go back to my childhood when my dad also had receivers. Here they are with indicators like these, and they are also at the Premiere. They are of this classic white type. Although there's a silver Premiere, the dials on it are a bit different. In this model, we just have a screen that will show you which source you've selected. The buttons are standard with backlighting. The power on and off buttons are metallic. There's a USB input and a headphone jack, which I also don't use, friends. But if you love to listen to music, so to speak, alone with yourself, then please go ahead and use it and everything will be fine. The facade is metal, everything remains the same. Master volume, a label that, in my opinion, just needs to be removed. It's not needed here. And the Premiere badge, redesigned, looks good. If there were dials here, I would suggest removing it. But since there are no dials, it should stay. Good design, yes. Chinese design, no. Does it look like other amplifiers? Yes, because all amplifiers are somewhat similar. But overall, I think it's really one of the best representatives on the market. Why? Well, because a lot of work went into it, friends. You can feel the master's touch here. By the way, the top cover, that's what you need. It's all in a mesh, it's all perforated. And you don't have to worry, like with some Rotel, that it will overheat. Even though the transformer is located here on the right, the whole amplifier will be ventilated. Plus, let's take a look at the back. By the way, friends, don't forget that we're on Telegram. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. There really is exclusive content appearing there. And also, friends, a big request. For you, again, we created a very interesting Telegram bot with Charge, Omni. It can generate images, it can generate all sorts of different texts. Cool, it might help you. And it can also download YouTube videos from a link and turn them into a file. So, feel free to use it. There are free requests available. This is essentially my handiwork. If you like it, I'll be really happy. So, you're welcome. Let's take a look at what's back here. Terminals, friends. Well, this topic with terminals, I said to my colleagues from the Premiere that we really need to arrange them in a row. Like, for example, in the same Denon, which is... No, the one that was at the beginning of the video, there were terminals too, like in a square shape, and in the first review, I think it was called SQ or SA. In general, they were arranged in a row there, but here, well, it's not very convenient. They're all crammed together, and especially if you have a good, powerful, high-quality, expensive cable, it will definitely be uncomfortable to plug it in there. Here we only have the option for banana connections, basically, so we can't really plug in the spade connectors here. I think it's a minus because many people really have good quality cables with spade connectors. Well, it's like this here. This is a budget device, friends, so no frills. Antenna, the coveted inscription, developed in Russia, the company OAO, firm, MMS. This is really cool. Well, go ahead, throw stones at me, friends. Well, I was born in the USSR. I'm glad that something is being developed in our country. That's great. If they are assembled in Russia, that would be cool too. But I think the price will immediately double because... But how much will you go for? How much would you go to work for, friends? Just write in the comments how much you earn. This is very interesting. Because the Chinese who assemble them do it with quality. Plus, I read somewhere that Asians have hands that are designed to do something small, fine assembly, and they are made for this. Look at my hands. They are made for this. What are they made for? I even have calluses. But personally, I wouldn't be able to assemble it at all. It's not my thing. All right, let's not talk about the sad stuff. The Bluetooth module is absolutely, I'm telling you right away, the worst sound quality in this device if you use the Bluetooth module. Never do this. Always use the streamer that is inside. Download the audio system application, or better yet, Vim, because it works here while it still works, while our sanctions have not yet reached us completely, and you will get the maximum let's say, engagement in the sound process. Optical, coaxial, HDMI, RC, the return channel, again, connect it to the TV and everything will be great. We added 2 speakers and you have an excellent stereo system, a great home theater, even without rear speakers. By the way, there's also the option to connect a subwoofer. That's good too, although I always say that the stereo system doesn't need a subwoofer. If you've built your stereo and you feel like you don't have enough bass, friends, then you've done something wrong. This means that your amplifier is not of the right class, or your acoustics are lame, there should be no subwoofers, stereo, it will almost never keep up with your front acoustics. If you also have bookshelf speakers, then it's just hopeless, even if you have a really fast subwoofer. Something like KEF, that's not it. Next, the RCA tape side of the AUX. There's no balance, friends, that's also a problem. How come they didn't add a balance here? Well, I understand that the circuit here is unbalanced and the connection is balanced. It would be, let's say, like a dog's 5th leg. But even in this kind of amplifiers, the balance, it always reduces interference due to the very design of the cable. And it still makes the low frequencies sound better. Let's take a look at what we have here. 4 legs, my friends, not 3 like Hegel, but 4. That's good. And you see a bolt, a big, huge bolt that secures this transformer. The last little screw is just a little screw. And let's see what's inside. I'm really interested in how they played it. Do? No, they didn't cover it, friends. Well then, let's speak as it is. Let's speak the truth. Accordingly, we have these guts. So what do you think, friends? I think everything is done well, except for the fact that the digital part isn't shielded. That's definitely a downside, friends, because if the engineers had thought of some kind of casing, it would have been much better. But what are the advantages? This is Thor. He really commands respect. The audio grade components. Everything here is audio grade, and this is high quality. Moreover, there's a copper winding. You can absolutely see this, the copper, friends, that is peeking out from under the casing. Thick wires, a heatsink with additional fins of such a small, let's say, size, but apparently it's enough. Unfortunately, there are no copper plates like on that Denon, which costs 400,000, but our price is significantly lower. We have 2 capacitors. No bundles board to board. Is this good? Yes, absolutely, it's good. But if we had a small plate here, and there was a casing, we would add all of that to the price, 10,000 rubles. And you would say that it's too expensive. But how would that affect the sound? Well, probably for the better, but would you be willing to pay extra for that? Do people really need this in this particular concept? I don't think so. Probably the engineers know better and they calculate this cost. If you're going to start talking about how we're going to gather these components now, there on Ali, we'll gather it ourselves, we'll make it, it'll cost us about 10 times less. Cheaper, friends. Well, okay, go ahead, do it, no problem. If you have the time, if you have the money, yes. Okay. If you can make a finished product, well, you could probably build a house yourself and what's there? And you can basically build a car too. You know, kit cars used to be sold like that. So you buy a Lambo, for example, it arrives in this huge container and you assemble it like some kind of Lamborghini Countach. No problem, friends. If everything's fine with your hands, then you can do anything. Overall, probably, then you don't need a girl either. You can manage everything on your own. Just like how it all plays, friends, for the same price. There, it's 70,000 rubles, and considering the functionality, it plays fine. 50 watts per channel here. Well, essentially, honestly, that is, he played approximately in terms of volume and distortion as the same DAN. Of course, it doesn't have the same currents. The sound quality was significantly, let's say, lower. But for 400,000, 68,000 for an HDMI streamer, all those functions, that's not there. Well, there you pay for Denon, for the brand, for the nice packaging. But again, KEF reference, you connect it here. They don't play the way they're supposed to. You connect them to Denon, and they also don't play for 400,000 rubles. So for an inexperienced user who needs everything in one, this is a good option. But we have the Premiere A1, friends, which costs significantly less, and you can add to it streamer for 10,000, the same Vim plus or minus, and you get roughly the same thing. And there's the Premiere A2, which already comes with indicators and is a bit more interesting in terms of sound. And you can also add a streamer there and get the same price. So how will it be, friends? Well, if you ask me personally, in order to buy, if I bought the Premiere A2 with a separate streamer or this device, I would choose the Premiere A2. So this device is niche. It's not for everyone. But of course it will find its buyer. Because again, it's like Mercedes. It's represented in almost all segments. The A series, the S series, the E series, and I think they also had a B series. S, of course, the series Sonderklasse, meaning special class. And from small to large, you can find the product you need. If you want to set something up like that in general, it's inexpensive, but again, it's all in one box, so everything plays together and there's a streamer, everything's good, just set it up. And if Alice were here too, it would be priceless. But you can connect it, again, via analog input. So what about the genres? They were getting it going. The Q speakers, these ones, are just perfect. So this pair is just perfect. Q1 Himsa, Q3 Himsa. Everything above that, well, it's already a bit too much for it. This is already not the same level. Just for fun, I'll say it again. I connected the reference. Well, you can definitely feel the quality of the speakers, but this device is absolutely not meant for these acoustic systems. To each their own. That is, this is a niche entry level for people who want to get hi-fi for relatively little money. But you can also add and get the Premiere A3, and that will be a completely different class. So are we buying it or not? Leave your comments.